Hey everyone, how are you doing? So, as he said, I'm Gísli, the CTO and co-founder of Monerium. So, what I wanted to talk to you about today is an IBAN for your wallet, or how your wallet becomes your bank account. Well, at least that was my intention when I submitted the subject for the talk a few months back. But since then, so many things have happened. And if I'd known then what I know now, the title would probably have been something like, Why We're Not Bullish Enough on DeFi. And I'm going to share some of those insights with you here, and why I'm so excited about the coming months. Well, for those of you who don't know what Monerium is, we are the issuer of the URI. It's an authorized stablecoin, essentially a new category of stablecoins. And when we're designing the URI, we set out a number of design principles that we really wanted to adhere to. And one of them was, of course, it had to be Web3 native, it had to be controlled by your wallet signatures, it had to be DeFi compliant. But the other thing is, it had to be the euro. It couldn't be a proxy for something else, like the USDC is a proxy for the dollar. So to prove that, one of our customers, last month, actually paid his tax obligations in his home country in Europe with the URI. So you really have to think about this as the euro on-chain. Okay. So, because we're regulated, that gives us a way to talk to the TradFi systems as peers. And when you sign up as a Monerium customer, we give you an IBAN that is associated with your wallet. You probably all know what an IBAN is. That's the international bank account number, and you've seen it in your banks. Now you have one for your wallet. I'm going to share with you our web client to demonstrate the flow for how you get an IBAN for your wallet. So as any DApp, you're going to start with connecting your wallet. And today, this can either be a browser-injected wallet or Wallet Connect. We do that. You get the address. You provide the signature, which proves that you're the address owner. And once you've done that, you can request the IBAN. There you go. So now you have two identifiers to your account. Number one, the Ethereum address, and number two, the IBAN. And what can you do with a Web3-enabled IBAN? Let's go through that. You can receive money from anyone in the banking system. So to demo this, I have me here on the right-hand side with the Monerium app, and I'm going to log in and add money, and you can see this is my personal IBAN in my name. I'm going to introduce my good friend Árni on the left-hand side. He still isn't on-chain, so he has an off-chain bank account with Revolut. He is going to take my IBAN and send a couple of euros to my personal Web3-enabled IBAN, write a memo, going on-chain, and initiate the payment. When he's ready, he's going to send it away. Now, this is an actual recording of the time it took for the money to leave his bank account to the on-chain euro. It's 10 seconds, and it's there in my wallet. Automatic, seamless, and easy. So this transaction here, you can see that it's augmented with some of the properties from the SEPA system. You get the name of the sender, you get the bank account, you even get the message attached to the payment, right? And there's a link there to the on-chain transaction where we minted the 2 euros. So why is this important? Well, it never made any sense to us to buy money, right? It never made sense to go on a centralized exchange to purchase the euro. That's not how it works in the old system, the TradFi. You just move money from one account to the other, and that's what we have. You have an off-chain euro in the banking system. You move it to an on-chain euro with Monerium. So what else can you do? Well, you can go the other way around. You can send the payment back to the banking system. Let's see how that works. I'm going to send €1 back to my friend Árni. I type in the amount. I type in his account details, like his IBAN at Revolut. And using my wallet, I provide the signature that essentially initiates the burn transaction. Here's Árni again. He is, again, a Revolut user. And the payment is now flowing in the other side, right? When it lands in his bank account, what he sees, if you pay close attention, is my name. Not Monerium, but my name. Because it's your money and it's in your name. And if this was a company, the company name would be there. Recently, we introduced the option of going cross-chain. Right now, we support Ethereum, Gnosis, and Polygon. And you can seamlessly go between those chains in a matter of seconds. Let's see what that looks like. So again, you can see that I'm going to take €1 from Gnosis chain. I'm going to initiate a payment. And it's not going back to the banking system, but it's going to a destination chain. In this case, it will be Polygon. And I can send it to an address that I have. Going cross-chain, sign the transaction, and we're off. The balance on Gnosis chain is 0, but let's look at the account balance there. It's there. It's already there. €1 on Polygon. So that's going cross-chain. So what we've essentially done is that we've interconnected the 11 trillion euros in the banking system, who now can freely flow onto a blockchain, and from there onto another one. And we support 3, as I mentioned today, but we're going to be adding all of them. All the layer 1s, the layer 2s, and even the non-VMs. So you can seamlessly move this money back and forth without any friction. What if you're a Web3 company, or DAO even, and you store your funds in something more than an EOA address? Of course, the Safe is the flagship wallet for that. You can define your spending limits. In this case, we have a 2 out of 2 Safe wallet, multi-signature. And you can use this wallet to manage your crypto assets. But until now, it's been very hard to manage your fiat currency in the same manner. But as the euro is native on-chain, it's essentially just a stable coin. You can think about it like a stable coin, but it's so much more that you can now connect your Safe wallet and find the Monerium application in the Safe App Store. Open it up. And now you have the web client embedded into that wallet. And you should take note that now you see the Safe logo up where the wallet connection is. The green light indicates that this wallet is now connected to your on-chain fiat. You now have all the capabilities that I showed you earlier. Sending money cross-chain, going to a bank account, receiving money into your IBAN. And this becomes the easiest way to pay salaries for Web3 companies, right? Because now you can just essentially use the same signature scheme, and whenever somebody wants to initiate a payout, in this case, both of the parties defined by this policy need to sign off. And you can use all of the spending modules and everything, all the capabilities. And this is the way we extend the capabilities onto the banking system. Like, this is hard in TradFi. Now we just take whatever the community has built, and we plug it in with fiat. And of course, the asset page of the Safe wallet is going to show the balance here, because this is all natively embedded. We have seen that it takes some time for users to fully grasp what we built. But I think it's well summarized by a happy Monerium customer who said, the safe, and actually any wallet, now becomes your self-sovereign bank account. And I think that is the way to think about it. Your wallet becomes your bank account. And actually, on my side, I only keep my old bank account to be able to demonstrate the power of Monerium. So to summarize what I've said, the URI is efficient. You can go from any bank account to a blockchain instantly, 24 hours, 24/7. And oh yes, I probably forgot to mention that it's free. It's completely free of charge. There are no fees. You can use any wallet that you'd like, be it a smart account wallet, an EOA wallet, you choose. You can use it on all the supported chains, and we're going to be constantly adding more. And it's DeFi native, so it swaps into other currencies and is a DeFi participant. Security is, of course, an important topic. So in addition to being authorized and regulated, it's 102% over-collateralized in fiat terms, as dictated by our license. And the smart contracts have been audited by ACI, who have audited many of the industry's smart contracts, including the Safe, 1inch, to name a couple. What I've said so far is to give you an idea into the powers of this infrastructure, what we call on-chain fiat. What I'm about to tell you now is that as a good Web3 participant, we don't really want to be locking and siloing the user experience to our own web client, right? We expose all of the functionality that I've shown you so far as an API, and we've even wrapped it as an SDK for a couple of languages. So when you have all of this power, we can start to ask the questions, what can you start to build? And here's a great example that an external team to Monerium, the Bootnode team, they decided to dedicate 2 developers for a month to come up with an idea how you can use this infrastructure. And what they came up with was brilliant in my mind. So the idea is that you're a DAO contributor, and you get your salaries paid in a treasury token on any chain. And you need to be able to pay your landlord, right? And today, if you think about the steps that you need to take, it's a hassle. It's just a mess. So let's look at how this would work. I'm going to show you a demo, how this works with URAMP. You start by connecting your wallet. Boom. And then you authorize the application to connect to your Monerium IBAN account. And remember, one of the requirements for Bootnode was that must not be no extra API for the backend. So this is simply a web client. It could be hosted, on GitHub or something else. And here, the user is explicitly authorizing URAMP to take action on their behalf with a wallet signature. So now that's done. So we go from, let's say, Matic on Polygon. And I'm going to type in 2. I get a quote, and it says 1.38 euros. And then I type in the destination in the off-chain banking system, and it's going to be me, but this could be the landlord. And now you send it away. This requires 2 transactions. You go into bridge and swap. And with that done, you're going to want to initiate the payout into the banking system, the off-chain banking system. Now, let's do that. There's another signature here, authorizing that transaction. 10 seconds later, it's done. Imagine what this saves. Imagine what the experience that this unlocks. And what did I see when I saw this in my Revolut bank account? Number one, 1.38 euros. Number two, payment coming from Gísli, not Monerium. And number three, the reference there using Euroramp, right? So, and this actually solves a lot of problems for Web3 native individuals or companies, because if you go through something like Kraken, payments get stopped because it originates in DeFi. We are here to abstract that complexity away for you, because what the receiving bank only sees is my name and nothing else. Recently, the Safe SDK was launched. And it's essentially a powerhouse of services that have been wrapped up and encapsulated in a single API and an SDK. And using this SDK, you can start to leverage the powers of account abstraction to create gasless payments, to have seamless onboarding. And we're, of course, very thankful and humbled by the fact that the core SDK team chose Monerium to be the on-chain fiat. And now, with this stack, what can we start to build? So I think you heard about, in the previous talk, the Gnosis Pay card. These are the kind of applications that we're seeing right now. I think this is the next generation of dApps, right? And there was a big announcement at ECC. You, of course, had a talk about it. Under the hood, how does it work? So you have the card, and the card is associated with a safe. The guys from the Gnosis Pay actually told you earlier how this works. And whenever you touch on a POS system using that card, what actually happens is that the card is instructing that safe to move that money using the Monerium IBAN. And because we're authorized, because we're regulated, we can settle with the Visa system, and in this case, pay the merchant or settle with the Visa so that the merchant, in this case, the owner of the cafe, gets paid. So in this sense, every cardholder becomes a Monerium customer and gets an IBAN. And right now, every transaction that happens is actually a URI transaction. So what am I trying to say? I think we, as an industry, as an ecosystem, are at the point where all those components are coming together to create the next level user experience. And I think it's no secret, it's not unique to me, but I think Web3 hasn't succeeded so far because of the terrible user experience for most. It's just way too hard for regular users. But now that is changing. And what I'm predicting is that in the coming months, and this is why I'm so excited, in the coming months, we'll start to see Web3 applications coming together that exceed the user experience of their Web2 darling rivals, like the likes of Revolut and others. So that's what gets me so excited, and that's what I wanted to share with you. And with all of this in place, the only question that remains for me, what are you going to build with it? Thank you.
Okay, so let's open it up for questions. We have one question right here.
Thank you so much, and congratulations. I have two questions. The first one is, how do you make revenue as Monerium? And the second one is a bit more on the actual monetary structures that are happening behind the scenes. So, as you said, it's 102% collateralized. So I wonder, what's the process here? So people are sending euros somewhere, and then the euro E is minted. So what happens in the backend, if you could speak a bit about that?
OK, very good questions. So I think the first question is actually important because it shows how we're aligned with the ecosystem, right? So we can offer those transactions for free because of our business model. We don't even talk about on and off ramping anymore because it's just that native transfer between the two worlds, right? If you're an on-ramp or an off-ramp, your business model has to be to take a transaction of those transactions. However, as we are built with, we are fully grounded in on-chain, so we make our money by the safeguarded user funds that we store on your behalf. So I can go a little bit into detail there because I think it's important. When we receive money from the banking system, and this goes into your second question, we safeguard the user funds. So we're not like a bank. We don't even have the authorization from the regulator to do it. Our only purpose is to safeguard the user funds, right? So in a segregated, ring-fenced accounts away from our accounts, right? And we do it in two ways. We can safeguard with custodial bank accounts with another banking institution. And most importantly, we can safeguard them in high-quality liquid assets. And you can think about those as government notes with short duration, which is exactly the most secure kind of money that there exists. And most people actually don't get access to this kind of money. But now we're kind of democratizing access to that kind of money. We're 102% collateralized, which means that we safeguard the user funds on your behalf, and then we provide even 2% of our own capital on top as a buffer. Did that answer the question? I can go into more detail if you'd like, but let's take another question.
There's another question right there. Gentleman sitting down.
Can you hear me? Yeah. So is this limited to the European Union, or can everybody in the world now make an IBAN connected to their wallet?
Exactly. So we have passported the license successfully throughout all the EEA member states and the European, the EU plus the European Economic Area. So all European individuals and companies can apply for an IBAN. That's what our license says. So right now, you have to be a European, yes.
So we have a question up there, gentleman standing.
Yeah, as far as I know, Monerium has an e-money license, which is actually e-money institution. And now, so I missed the first half, but now you're talking about issuing cards, if I understand correctly. Does it involve another kind of license, like issuer license, which you need to apply to?
Great question. So yes, we are the first authorized EMI in the world to issue tokens on a public blockchain. We received that license in 2019. We spent the first 2 years of our lives educating the regulators about that money could also live on-chain. The e-money license, it probably doesn't tell you a lot, but number one, the likes of PayPal, Revolut, and others use this license for 2 decades now. And number two, we're future compliant with MiCA. To your question, does the issuance of the card change anything for us? No, because we are doing this in partnership with Gnosis Pay. We're actually issuing the cards. We're just using this infrastructure, or they are essentially using the API and the SDKs to power the settlements for the underlying transactions. So nothing changes on our behalf.
We have a question right there, and then another one here in the front.
Thank you, super interesting. In your presentation, I didn't see the point where you do KYC. At which point in the chain do you do that?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So we actually had a long conversation with the regulators. And one of them being, we were pretty hard on the stance that we wouldn't be whitelisting token holders on chain, right? So that would kind of kill the composability of those applications. So no whitelisting. You can, if you have URI in your wallet, you can send it to any other address out there. However, we have to be compliant. We are, we have the same AML conditions as the banks, PayPal, and others. So we have to know our customers. So when you apply for an IBAN, a prerequisite is to have a KYC, right? So we're actually we're the only EMI in the world that doesn't have a payment service license associated with it, because e-money allows you to issue money, but payment services allow you to make account transactions. Our argument was that the blockchain actually does that, and we can take our systems offline, and all the issued money would actually flow, right? So we're not participating in that. So we are policing, let's say, money moving between the two worlds.
Cool. Okay, guys, unfortunately we are out of time, so thanks, Gísli.
Thank you.
If you have any more questions, where can you be found?
Probably around. I'll be here.
Okay.
You can
Gísli will be around, so